Hello Del and welcome to SwimTherapy. It's the 1st of May 2024 and today we had a look at freestyle and breaststroke. Now looking at freestyle, we want to take a little look at when the elbow bend happens and when the forearm becomes vertical. We can see at the moment that forearm doesn't become vertical until later in the stroke. That means you don't get to use the forearm till later and you don't engage your lats until later. So we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at hip rotation. We can see at the moment where the hips remain, they're a little bit too flat. So when the hand enters the water, hips are square, body's flat. That means higher amounts of drag, lower amounts of reach, and also means you're unable to glide. So they're going to be the things we're going to focus on. We started off with elbow bend and did a good couple drills to get this happening. The first one is you've got freestyle kick. Arms are around about shoulder width, and you're just practicing that elbow bend one arm at a time. Now that is early vertical forearm here. Elbow just around shoulder height or just underneath. Obviously forearms vertical, 90-degree angle. Be wary of width. Sometimes if it's a little bit too narrow, the hands, they will be more difficult to bend. So making sure it stays shoulder width. We then did some catch up. Keywords for catch up to recite in your head. Hands meet. So hands meet at shoulder width. Bend and pull. Hands meet. Bend and pull. And same again. Try your best to get that elbow bend as far in front as possible. If it's a good pull, the water should feel heavy. And making sure that elbow gets right over the wrist each time. A good drill for you to use for some immediate feedback is catch up with closed fists. By closing the fists, it forces you to use the forearm as a paddle. So if you begin to feel that resistance on the forearm, it's a good one. And they're the ones you'd want to try and copy. We then did some single arm, okay, and this is going to start preparing you for full stroke. Keywords here, first one is stick. Now that's a really important one. You've got to get the arm to stick in place, plant in place, make sure it doesn't move. Okay, just go on to this one. Now once you've done stick, we have bend and pull, stick, bend and pull. Obviously we bend first to engage those lats and increase that surface area, and then pull in through after. That leaves us with one last drill, which is freestyle with an underwater recovery. Now the reason we do this, it's easier to stick when you come from underneath the water because there's no downward force, but it's also very good for timing. So as one goes back, the other goes forward, so you've got to coordinate it. Keywords are similar: stick, bend and switch. Stick, bend, and then switch insides. And this is very, very similar to how I want your full stroke to look. Obviously, apart from the fact you'd come over the water. So that's what we did. Going into full stroke, we kept the keyword stick, bend, and switch. So you can now see where forearm becomes vertical straight away. That slight catch-up that you see there will go as you get used to this. It's just a case of getting that elbow bend happening that little bit earlier. Plus, the previous drill we did does work on alternating a bit more too. But you look at that catch compared to catch at the start. And here you can see elbows drop. We don't get the arm to stick. So that's a big, big difference there. That one onto this one. Really good movement. So that's the first goal I need you to work on. We then got going with some rotation, doing a drill called 616. We want belly button to the side, nose tucking down towards the armpit. Kick for 5 seconds. You then need to drive the hip forwards to switch. Okay. Now this is the longest, most streamlined position we've got, which we want to look like on every single stroke. You always use the hips to rotate because that's where most of your body weight is. So you get the most generation of power. Now going into full stroke, we're looking for that position. Keywords are hip and stick, which means the hip pushes forwards, the arm sticks in place, okay, just to allow you to glide and extend your reach. So if you watch these ones here, hip and stick, and then hip and breathe when you need to. Going back to the start, and here we can see the hips are very stationary, the arms turn over continuously, and where the body's flat, you're going to receive more drag. So another decent improvement from that one into this one. The only thing worth noting is when you sprint, you wouldn't rotate as much, but you'd still use your hips for power. So they're the two things to work on for free. We then got going with some breaststroke. Now with breaststroke, at the moment, we tend to pull straight back or near enough straight backwards. We need more of a sculling phase because if you do pull straight back, you get less water, you're more likely to slip, but it also affects your timing. If you can think, if you pull straight back, there's a large gap between the kick finish, the pull finishing and the kick starting, and that's when those hips will drop. So we're going to look at that first. We are going to look at timing and rhythm, another way to get the hips up and get that body weight going forwards rather than downwards. So front crawl kick, breaststroke arms is the drill to use, and the keywords that you're going to use are feel, in, out. Feel is when you turn your palms out and you feel the water until you're just outside shoulder width. From there, we pull in, tuck the elbows in, and drive forwards. So feel, in, out. Feel, in, out. Feel should be done that bit slower, and in and out should be done quickly. And you can actually say the words in that way. So say feel slowly, say in and out quickly in your head. Going into full stroke, exactly the same thing there. Okay, and you'll see as a result of this, hips are now starting to sit higher. There's more of a sequence. Feel in and out. Feel in and out. Comparing that back to the start, there's no real sequence with that pull, and we can see the hips hanging down. And the feel definitely isn't there on that one. Versus here. Feeling first, in and out quick after. Again, saying it in your head. Now, last but not least, a little bit on timing, which should tie in quite nicely with this. Breaststroke arms, fly legs. Keywords are heels and pounce. Now, what that means exactly, you want to bring the heels up quick on the fly kick and then use it to pounce head, chest and arms forwards. The fly kick should happen just as the pull finishes here. And you only want to do one fly kick per arm pull, so it's similar to breaststroke. Heels and pounce. Heels and pounce. We then get going with a 3-3. This is when you do 3 strokes with fly legs, obviously doing heels and pounce as well. You then do 3 strokes with breaststroke legs, trying to mimic the same timing and keep the same rhythm. So you need the heels to come up fast on that breaststroke kick and then use it to pounce body weight forwards. You can do variations of this drill, so it doesn't have to be 3 and 3. It can be 1 of each, it can be 2 of each. It's just a good one to try and transfer that time in. Going into full stroke, same keywords, and you see here, heels and pounce. Hips now stay up, body weight lunges forwards, and that's a much better timed breaststroke than where we began here, where hips and body sink down, kick is late, not quite got the same timing there as we do here. Much better. So take that away, get practicing. Only ever work on one element of the technique at a time in training. Use your drills, use your keywords, and I'll see you soon to keep making this progress on your technique. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.